Thank you, Mark, and hello from London. An interesting series of technical patterns have been formed this past week. There were weekly key reversals down in Euro Yen and US dollar against the Japanese Yen. Now, one would assume from these two that others in the Japanese Yen crosses would also have such a similar fate, but no. There was no weekly key reversal in Sterling Yen, and indeed in Chinese Yuan against the Japanese Yen we saw a move higher for a stronger Chinese Yuan. So it was a limited move in the two major currencies against the Japanese Yen last week. And has not been any follow through for a stronger yen this week, at least not yet. Sticking with Asia, we had a weekly key reversal up in the Shanghai Composite Index last week. Interestingly, there was no such move in the CSI 300 index nor the Shinex index, though they both came close to it. There has been a limited move higher in Shanghai this week, though I personally would say the jury is still out on that as a follow through higher. Staying with the financials, we had a number of fixed income futures that had weekly key reversals up last week. These were US T-note futures, UK gilt futures, and German Bund futures. There was a small spurt higher at the very start of this week as a follow-on to these patterns across all of these, but since about Tuesday this week, prices across the board have turned back down. The German Bund futures being the most aggressively weak, though they are all still within last week's ranges. Interestingly, US bond futures only managed a lesser outside week rather than a key reversal, and in some ways have dipped the least compared to the others. Moving now to the commodities. Sugar had some interesting moves, both London white sugar futures and the white sugar premium. They had monthly key reversals up last week. I have dealt with these two extensively in my sugar videos this past Monday, as we've had a dramatic gapping higher move over this past weekend, following on from the creation of the weekly key reversal up in London white sugar futures. This has carried on through this week so far. Meanwhile, in the white sugar premium, the weekly key reversal up last week was a significant breakout higher from the prior 3 weeks of indecisive weekly doji crosses and spinning tops. This also saw, as in the London contract, a significant follow-on higher this week, and is part of a move related to the huge 2021 to date ascending wedge pattern that has recently come to fruition. Interestingly, there was no such pattern in New York sugar futures, not even an outside week, though the New York contract benefited from being pulled up by both the London contract and the white sugar premium to the tune of gapping higher this week and to giving me a headache, as its lack of definitive technical patterns and relative bullish incentive compared to London. Finally, we also had a weekly key reversal down in ICE Dutch TTF gas baseload futures last week, a significant contract over here in Europe. This had been a market that had been defined by the moving averages, with the short medium moving average currently at 113.21 capping the market, and the long moving average currently 91.58 supporting it. Well, last week's weekly key reversal down here gave the opportunity for a test of the long moving average, and it buckled yesterday with an open below it. However, it did not break, and though we see prices lower than last week's close, the long moving average is still holding on as support, if as a quite dented support. To end with, I'm always happy to share my videos, various charts, and answer any questions with anyone who wishes to contact me. And with that, I'll finish this section from London. I hope you found these comments useful.